Well, the draft may be over, but NBA
Welcome
free
back
agency right around the corner. It
to
officially
this.
begins
And next Monday and
Eastern,
Tuesday will be a
we'll
free
have our
agency
NBA Today free
special
agency
at
specials
7 p.m. on
Monday and Tuesday,
ESPN
7 o'clock Eastern
for
on
next
ESPN.
Monday and
There should be a ton of
Tuesday.
movement. We're going to break it all
So
down. 2 hours on Monday, 3
we'll see what the
hours
free
on
agency
Tuesday.
special we're going to
Brian
be
will
looking
with
like.
us. Bobby will be with us. Bob J, if you want to sign up for 5 more hours of TV, you are welcome to stop by. We've already seen here
And that's what
plenty of movement, Brian. Of course, Kevin Durant traded from Phoenix to
Years
Houston.
and
That
years.
happened on the same day as Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And then, a little bit more surprisingly, we were
I
wondering
believe it.
what the Boston Celtics were going to do in the wake of the Jason Tatum injury.
You
Drew
just want to
Holiday
believe,
gone,
as I
Kristaps
saw.
Porzingis traded to Atlanta, and then CJ McCollum traded
I'll
from
see
New
what
Orleans to
happens.
Washington on Tuesday. Let's start with the Boston Celtics and filter our way down here, Brian. What do you make of the moves that they are choosing here?
It was not surprising, unfortunately. When Jason Tatum got hurt, they were facing a payroll that Bobby was kind of calculating for us over the recent months. It was topping $500 million. And to illustrate how penal the tax situation that they were in, they only traded 2 players. Unlike they traded 9 players. And one of the players they got back a significant salary in Anthony Simons for. Porzingis was pretty much a straight cash talk. In just trading those 2 players, they saved over $200 million. So that just tells you how fragile their situation was. And so the big question is, are the Celtics done? Or are the Celtics looking to cut more salary? They can, I think, Bob, what, $16, $17 million over the tax?
About 15 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, so there could be more moves to get under the tax. And as the Celtics have taken their team apart a little bit, these East teams that are around them have been emboldened. And I think we're seeing the Magic feel good about their position, and we see the Hawks are actually a very interesting team. They finished in the play-in this last year. They watched the unfortunate injury to Jason Tatum. They watched the unfortunate injury to Damian Lillard. They watched the unfortunate injury to Tyrese Halliburton. And then they see an opportunity that
Wow.
they can move up. So they go get Kristaps Porzingis. They have how big is the trading session, Bobby?
Oh, we don't
25,
say none of that.
43.
And I
No.
think they intend to use some or all of it. So the Hawks are a team that is reacting to their situation. I think we're going to hear the Hawks more from the Hawks in the coming days.
I think,
Which
Brian,
one do you
and this is a question for Bob, too, they did the right moves as far as getting under the second apron. How
Oh,
much money
yeah.
they saved just based on
I
how
didn't see it
punitive and
multiple
with the
times.
Tatum injury and where this
Yeah,
roster
Baby
was
Health,
going.
Baby Wealth,
My
and
only
Baby
concern is if they
Spoon.
another move is what's left of the roster when Jason Tatum does come back from this injury in 2026, and
He
you're looking
doesn't
at
go to
Jalen
New
Brown
York.
and Derek White, because the goal is to
And
continue
I
putting a competitive championship level team around Jason Tatum. And those 2 guys are, Bob,
Whoa.
those guys, those top 25 players are hard to go out and get.
That's a tightrope you're walking, because you understand without Tatum, you're being honest, and as harsh as it is, it's not going to be their year. And I'm assuming he doesn't come back, so they're assuming that, it looks like. But then you can't just say we're going to get rid of all our players, and then he comes back and looks around and goes, what are we doing? Because he's still making a ton of money. Jalen Brown's making money. Derek White is one of the most coveted players in the league. So at some point you have to say, we're going to try this year, and we're going to preserve the option to come back, because that is not an old team. That Celtic team is not an old team.
Actually,
And Drew Holiday, one of their older
unfortunately,
players, is not there.
maybe
Porzingis
not.
is not an old guy. They have to move
Of
on from him.
course.
So they still have 3 fantastic players in their prime, and you have to protect that. That's why you can't go so far in gutting your team.
Well, Drew Holiday was traded to the Portland Trailblazers at one point before as well, and now this is kind of coming to fruition. On the other side, the Atlanta Hawks, Tyrese Halliburton told
Okay,
me
we
they didn't
have-
want to be the Atlanta Hawks, a
here
mirage
to
from
finish
2021.
this.
They wanted
Here it
to
is.
prove it again and again. Atlanta, it may be your turn.
We
now.
have Planet Fitness. Well, we'll be right back on the other side. Don't you go anywhere.